Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Let's get this set up. Good. Red leather, yellow. Have some people come in. Get that set up. Sasha is here. So we'll let her in. Share my screen. Go to the fun stuff. Well, do it here. There we go. Always good to have a team. Picture up. Hello, Sasha.
Hi, Lester. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being punctual and being able to read. Makes things easy. What part of the world, we'll do introductions later, but what part of the world do you come to us from today?
I'm in Miami, Miami, Florida.
Very cool. And which organization did you come to support?
Archimedean Academy.
Are you one of the, I didn't run the one last night, but are you like one of the test users coming through to make sure it's like a real thing before other people do it, or do they send it out?
Well, I am the PTO president, but I'm also participating just because.
Well, hopefully this will be awesome. We've got about 3 weeks left of doing it like this. And then we're going to come back next fall with everything we've learned. Sasha, we've given away $25,000 this spring.
Wow.
To have 500 conversations with wonderful humans like you. to figure out, like, it's been a lot of fun. We've learned a lot. Have you heard of Sobe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're close by.
Yeah, Sobe is awesome. They were one of our top fundraising. I think we raised about $10,000 for their playground.
Wow, that's awesome.
And then we work with the Miami Gay Men's Chorus and Doral Prep. I don't know if you're familiar with Doral. They're down there too.
Yeah. I'm a teacher also, but I teach at a different school.
Where do you teach? So you teach at one school and you're the PTO president of our community?
So I'm at MCA Academy. It's smaller. We're a private school, so we don't fundraise there. We're in Coconut Grove, actually, and I teach high school. So my daughter's in elementary school, although her school is a K through 12 Archimedean Academy. Yeah. So, and actually, I see Cindy here. She's from Archimedean too. Hey, Cindy.
Cindy might have changed her name to Logan.
That's the little one, her son.
I can rename you, Cindy. It's fun. So we'll get started right at the top of the hour. We like to be on time. We know sometimes people have technical difficulties, but Cindy's here and Sasha's here. And if it's just the two of you, we'll have a great time. But we have about 5 people registered, which means maybe 1 or 2 more will show up right at the top of the hour. There's Carly. Is Carly part of Archimedean too? It's Archimedean? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, it is Archimedean.
Like Archimedes.
Yeah.
Where do you teach high schoolers, Sasha?
What do I teach them? I teach actually 4 subjects this year: art history, sociology, music appreciation, and Spanish.
Wow. So did you decide to be involved in the PTO because you saw what a difference it made, like, to the kids that had parents involved when they were young, or like what was your decision on that?
Well, like with Sobe that you guys worked with, I understand that especially charter schools need a lot of fundraising efforts and a lot of parent support. We are actually the most underfunded of the schools. Public schools in general tend to be underfunded, but charter schools get even less percentage of the total revenue for schools. So they really rely heavily on PTOs to come in and give them an extra boost. And our school is awesome. It compares to all of our private schools. That's why I haven't even moved my daughter. So if I can pay tuition by helping them raise money, even though I don't have to pay tuition, I figured that was the best way to do it. So,
well, thanks. We hope to make it easy as pie. In the fall, hopefully it'll be even easier because like I said, we've talked to 500 folks. We've raised $25,000 since January for great causes. And we're really happy that y'all are here. We like making our fundraising easy. And we're about to try to make it where it's even easier. Maybe you won't even have to talk to a live person. They'll just be, I understand this concept. Check. I understand this concept. Check. I want to learn more. Check. Okay, this is how you do it. It'll take like 25 minutes. So I'm going to try to practice and pretend like this is the new way of doing it, even though really, as soon as you introduce yourself, you're going to raise $50 for the school. Next fall, it'll probably be like 25, and you don't have to have a live conversation. And then after you learn, 25 more if you learn about your particular situation and your property. But we're glad you're here, because tonight is not like that at all. All you have to do, it's 6 o'clock now. We'll get started. If some people come in late, we'll let them in a couple more minutes. There's one person who just showed up. That might be a volume. But Cindy and Carly, if y'all can unmute and we can do some introductions real quick, and I'll start since I'm already talking. I'm Lester. That's me with the pink shirt. We're looking way too serious. And then my buddy John with the bow tie on. We've been working together for 15 years. We worked with college students for most of our lives. We lived in some cool places, met some cool folks, and have decided that for this part of our life, we just want to do things that are helpful. And we're too selfish to be teachers like you, Sasha. I admire you for being willing to be a teacher. Cindy, you might be a teacher too. But
all mothers are teachers. Lester, let's get that right.
Let's get it all the way right. Yes, they are full-time teachers. And so, but we do love solar energy, and we love helping folks. And we just thought this would be a cool way to create conversations around the topic. But let's do what we promised we would do first and start with the fundraising, because it might have sounded too good to be true. Just show up and money is raised, but it really is that easy. So who would like to begin with the introductions? And it's real simple. It's just your name, your location, the organization you're supporting, and then one other little piece of information, which is either if you have a burning question about solar, it would be that. If otherwise, something you've heard about it from a friend maybe who has it that's good, that would be good to share with your neighbors. Or if there's something bad you've heard, you can share that too, and it won't hurt our feelings, because it might be true and we don't want people doing anything that's not good for them. So we can, Cindy, you're smiling and you're unmuted. Would you like to start?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. So my name is Cindy Martin, and I am in Miami, Florida. And the organization I'm supporting is our Comedian Academy. So Sasha and I both have actually have 3 kids, but Sasha's daughter and my son are actually in the same class in 5th grade at our Comedian. And then in terms of solar, I'm familiar because I have an electric vehicle. So we had already looked into solar panels through Tesla.
Yeah.
So we're just, we haven't committed to anything yet. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to learn more about about Ovanova, I should say.
Well, thanks, Cindy. We're glad to tell you about it. We're just
welcome.
a small group of people. It's just me and John and Luke and Trey and Holly, and we just work with organizations. Our whole thing is Tesla's right. Tesla doesn't spend any money on marketing. And if you go with Tesla, that would be a good choice for you. They do a really good job if you have the right size system. There was a guy in Texas who wanted batteries though, and we were able to help him save $50,000 on his system versus Tesla. So we'll be glad to create a design for you and get back together with you, and we can compare it to Tesla. And if your Tesla deal is better, we'll tell you to take it. Like, that's what we do. We just teach people about solar and help you find what's best for you. But thank you for introducing yourself and for using an electric vehicle.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. Who would you like to hear from next?
Oh, let's see. Let's hear from Carly.
Hi, my name is Carly Suarez. I am in Coral Springs, Florida, which is just a little bit north of Cindy and Sasha. I am supporting Legacy 9U baseball, and I don't really have too many questions. I mean, obviously I'm going to have questions about solar, but I know a little bit about it, but not enough to start asking questions.
well, hopefully you will after tonight, and that's what we're here for, Carly. Thank you for showing up. But you haven't heard anything terrible, nothing good, just sort of like, yeah, it exists. Some people use it.
No, my husband has a hybrid car. Like, it's not, we're conscious of the environment and the energy, and like, I'm a wine consultant, and all of the wine that our company reps is like all biodynamic, and it doesn't have like lasting impact. So like those kind of things I'm concerned about, and what I'm leaving behind for my kids. So solar can only make that better.
Yeah, no, here's one thing, Carly, we don't have to leave behind for our kids, is the way we make electricity now. That's what these pictures are. Like, that's a crazy process, and it just doesn't have to be like that anymore. It'd be like making kids go back to just having newspapers and taking away the internet. Technology changes and things become possible. Thank you for caring about the planet. thank you for introducing yourself. You and Cindy both just raised $50 for the organizations you came to support. So who gets to go next?
Let's see. Let's go with Luke.
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm a part of Team Ovanova and currently here living in Indianapolis, but just here to support the organizations y'all are here to support.
Yeah. All right. So
and I will pick, let's go with Gabrielle. Oh, you're muted.
I'm driving, so it's a little hard to look at the phone and drive at the same time. You guys can hear me now, right?
Gabrielle, I would love it if you would come back at a time when you were not driving, because I don't think it's safe. Like, solar is really important, but it's not worth your life. We do these 6 times a week. We've got 3 more weeks left before the fall, and we can find a time, unless you're about to pull up at your home. What do you think is best for you?
I will be home in about 15 minutes.
Man, we'll probably be done in 15 minutes. This is going to take probably like less than a half an hour. Are you free at 8 tonight if Luke texted you to join us then, or would another time be better?
No, I can do 8 o'clock.
Cool. Well, Luke will text you a link. I just want you to be safe. As much as I'd like to talk to you, I'd rather see you whenever you have some space and some time. Thank you for being a trooper, though. I appreciate you being willing to risk your life to raise some funds and learn about solar, but not on my watch, not today. So Luke will get that link to you. And get your phone off before you run off the road, because I'm talking to you. So
I just want to say to the someone was from Coral Springs. I grew up in Boca, but I live in Tampa now. So I am originally from South Florida.
South Florida people are the funnest.
Right.
So we'll see you at 8, Gabrielle. Thank you for being. Is it Gabrielle or Gabrielle or Gabriella? How do you say it?
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle. We'll see you at 8. Thank you for being.
All right. Thank you.
And then I don't think we've heard from. Is there a phone number? That's you calling from the phone. Okay, that makes sense. That's how it works. So I guess we have Sasha, although Cindy knows her. I don't think Carly knows Sasha though. So you want to go, Sasha?
Sure. Hi, Carly, and hi, Luke. I guess I haven't met you guys, but I spoke briefly with Lester, who, by the way, you can be a teacher too, because you're engaging everyone, and that's what we need to do. Get everyone engaged through Zoom. So you guys could also be teachers if you guys ever want to educate more people. Come on and do some seminars for our youngins. But yeah, my name is Sasha. I am in Miami, Florida, like Cindy, and we are supporting actually all 3 of our schools, elementary, middle, and high school at Archimedean.
That's right.
Well, thank you for what y'all are doing, and you've already done it. So, a lot of times things sound too good to be true, and a lot of times they are. But sometimes things sound too good to be true, and they're actually true. So we just raised $150 in 8 minutes for your organization. So give yourselves a hand or a pat on the chest or back, or however you do it, you did it. And so this is what you can count on from us. Those are the intros, about 27 seconds a person. And then we got some basic solar concepts. Might take 10 minutes, might take 20 minutes, just depends on how engaged you are. Y'all are all sitting down, so this is easier than whenever it's on a phone. And then we got some Q&A time, and that's up to you. And when you can take as much or as little time as you want to, the fundraiser is complete. And if you'd like what you learn, you can Zoom with Luke or me or Holly or John, and we can talk about your personal situation. Cindy, like, I know y'all are actually in the process of making a choice, so we can explain to you where we get our stuff. But just so you know what happens, well, actually, I'll share that for a little bit later. So let's start with the good news. Here's 4 things people love about solar that we have found through these conversations.
Excuse me,
I'm
not on Zoom. I'm on my phone. I just didn't get to introduce myself.
Can you turn your video on?
No, I'm not in front of a computer or anything.
Would you mind coming back at 8 or some other time? Because the fundraiser is for having your camera on, so we know you're a human and being able to engage. Can we send you a link to come back?
Okay, it's in the text message. It was that I could dial in using my phone too.
Huh. Well, we'll have to change that. I don't know what communication you're referring to, but I'm sure you're telling the truth. Thank you for letting us know about our error. That's most phones have like a video on it. So that's what's going on. So
okay.
Yeah, Luke's going to get in touch with you. What is your name though? You can say hi while you're here.
Melissa Johnson.
Melissa, thank you for coming. Luke's sending you a message now where you can log on where you have a little bit more bandwidth. And we will see you soon. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And so, all right. So now it's just the three of us plus Luke. Cindy, Carly, Sasha, y'all ready?
Yes.
Those four, those 500 people I told you we talked to. These are the four biggest things we find that they do not know about solar energy. Number one is the government will actually let you keep 26% of whatever it costs instead of paying taxes with that money next year. Is that news to anybody? Like, new Carly said yes. Okay, so we had one person that learned something. That's not bad. So yeah, like instead, whatever your system costs, the government will pay for 26%. So let's say you pay $20,000. $5,200 of that the government pays for next year by not making you pay them taxes. So can we move to point number 2 now?
Yes.
Or do y'all have any questions about that? It's as simple as it sounds. It's almost too good to be true. So the second thing is you will increase the value of your property. Not that you really need that right now, because if you sold your property, people would be fighting to get it. It's like the hottest housing market ever. But should it slow down, you can increase the value.
Okay.
Is that not true where you are, Cindy? Is it still
Oh,
slow?
yes, Miami. Yes. Are you kidding? It's a hot spot here.
It is on fire. Like everywhere is on fire,
Like-
but especially
Like our temperature right now is on fire.
welcome to the city where the heat is on.
That's right. That's right.
So-
we got the heat.
I love you got the basketball TV. Y'all do
That's
it.
right. That was my reference.
I'm glad I caught it. Thank you for being fun. So your property value increases how much? Depends on how you look at it. If you look at a Zillow study, it says it will increase by about 4%. We think that's kind of a silly way to look at it. We think the way to look at it should be the value is however much less expensive electricity is for the next person who moves in your home. So if they're going to use $60,000 worth of electricity and it only costs them $30,000 to, finish the payments on your solar panels or to buy them outright, then what's the value if you are getting something for $30,000, it's worth $60,000.
Gotcha.
Is that question too complicated, Carly? Basically, if you could pay $30,000 for something and it was worth 60, then how much are you to the good at that point?
You'd be 30,000 to the good.
Right. And so whoever moves into your house will be X dollars to the good because their electricity costs less. And that's why you can charge more for your house. So even if you haven't finished paying off your solar, people still want it and they just pay for it and wrap it into their mortgage. So number 3, you can start using solar without paying a dime to design it, install it, and activate it. Our job is just to show you how easy that is and to take away anything that resembles sales pressure so you can actually learn. So we can do these fun things together. But this is what we do when we get together with you. We'll look at your house. And do y'all see the solar panels on here? We can easily click those on and off. But you see, we have a little chart here that shows where the sun is at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock in the morning in January, and where it is at 3 o'clock in August. And the sun goes to different places. So different times of the day, based on where the sun is in the sky and based on where your trees are, you'll get a different amount of sunlight. And so with the design we create with you or for you, whatever you prefer, we'll be able to know exactly how much electricity you can create. You can see this particular house. I chose it because it's very shaded. They make almost no electricity for like 3 months a year because their house gets no sunlight during that time of the day. But we have software and we just enter your address and then we use that number you gave us to figure out how many panels you need. Because that's the one thing that Tesla doesn't do, Cindy. They have basic packages. Like you can get this size, or this size. And that's great in some ways. It's like Henry Ford saying you can get any color car you want as long as it's black. But we'll create a custom design so you can get exactly what you need. And that's based on your situation. Like if you know that you have an electric car, if you have an electric car, have you ever thought about the fact that your gas station is going to be on your roof now? Oh, you're muted. What you say?
That's intentional, because I probably would have, in case I say something inappropriate. No, yes. So at a very superficial level, I have thought of it that way.
Yeah, and after the pipelines get shut down with ransomware attacks, it's nice to know that you can still go because the sun's going to come up and you can put quote unquote gas in your car. And then here's the fourth thing people like about solar is that you can pay for it using savings from your electricity bill. So I just got a text from a good friend of mine because that I'm talking to about going solar. And she's like, we'll be ready to do it in the fall. You know, we've got to, close a couple of sales first, got to do this. And that's somebody who's my really good friend. So what I'm going to tell her is, girl, you don't need to make extra money. You use money from your electricity bill to pay your solar payment with. And what we help you do is figure out how much it costs. And for everybody on here, I did a real quick look at you, and it would be shocking if a zero down solar option didn't cost you less per month than what you're paying now for the same amount of electricity. So that's the big secret, is that solar works now. It works really well. There's a lot of good benefits. But I also know that even if it were free, some people would still have some questions that would keep them from wanting to use it. So I guess Sasha or Carly or Cindy or anybody, if somebody said, hey, I just won the lottery, I'm going to buy some solar panels for you, what kind of questions would y'all want to know before you were like, okay, we'll send them over to put them on my house? That sounds great.
I have
Probably.
Oh,
Go ahead. No, go, Sasha.
Sorry. I want to know how they do with our tropical weather.
Yeah. So first of all, whenever there's a huge amount of clouds, there's not a lot of sunlight. So the first thing to know is that on cloudy days and night, you stay connected to the grid. And the way it works with TECO and FPL, y'all are all FPL for your power. Florida Power and Light, you make more electricity than you need during the day, and then you put it back out on the grid and you get credits for it. So when the sun isn't shining, like during those thunderstorms or at night, you still have power from the grid. Now, if the power goes down from the grid, you don't have power because you're putting power on the grid, and that could shock somebody who's working to put the lines back up because you're producing electricity. However, if you like the idea of having power after a hurricane, you can get a battery, and it's just like a generator, except for it kicks on in 4/1000ths of a second. That's 4 times shorter than it takes a hummingbird to flap its wings. So this is a long answer to your question, Sasha, because the first thing to know is like, how does my power work, right? On whether it's a hurricane or just nighttime. And the answer is you're connected to the grid. If you want power after the power goes out, you can get a battery. And we have the most inexpensive options in America for batteries, because what y'all don't know about our service is that you pay wholesale for all of the equipment. Like, you pay what we pay. We don't mark up those things. And we'll show you exactly what they cost. We have our service fee that allows us to keep giving money away and having these conversations. We have like a project management fee to do all the permits. But as far as the equipment, you get that at wholesale, which is why we usually save people thousands and thousands of dollars on solar. So Cindy, you called us at a good time. Now, to answer your question, you might have been asking another question, which is, will they stay attached to my house after a hurricane? And the answer to that is, well, it kind of depends on the hurricane, because your house might not even stay attached to your house after a hurricane, depending on the kind of hurricane that comes through. But if you Google hurricanes and solar panels, like, what you'll see is more roofs blown off that still have the solar panels on them than solar panels that have just blown off. In Miami, before we can even put them on your roof, it's about a 3-month process just to get a permit to make sure that it's going to be attached in enough spaces so that what I just told you is true. If, however, you do lose your entire system, you have homeowners insurance for that. And we check to make sure that you have enough as part of our process if you use our service to go solar. And we'll help you understand all. That's just pieces of what we do. It'd bore you to death talking about it all tonight. But the simple answer is that if your county makes sure that it has to be installed in a way where it can resist 100, I think in Miami-Dade, I think it's 155-mile-per-hour winds. And the good news is the solar panel itself, once the system is installed, is really inexpensive, 100, 200 bucks. So even if you just lost one or two, it's not hard to get them put on. And we have an assurance fund for that. If you're home, like if you, well, now I'm rambling too much. Does that answer your question about hurricanes? So, and you just look at your neighbors. You see people with them on there, and they're usually still there after the hurricane, right? They're not flying around everywhere. If they did, it's just because of bad workmanship, and we pay our people well. We don't. That's one thing that we're really cheap when it comes to not overcharging for equipment. Like we are really, but we don't. We're really cheap at not paying ourselves too much to do it, comparatively to the effort that it takes to go in to do it. But we are not cheap when it comes to hiring contractors, because that's your home. And as long as you have a good contractor and a good plan, you can withstand a good sized storm. But a superstorm, probably not. So that's a great question. What other, so is Sasha good? So with Carly, were you the one that had a question too?
Yeah, my question was going to be what percentage, and maybe this is only going to be answered when we would get to the design page, but like on average, what percentage of solar power replaces the electricity like from FP&L?
Do you know what determines how much power a solar panel can make?
The sun.
Yep. And so do you know what determines, other than like the weather and nighttime, how much sun you get?
Well, the position of the sun and the way your house faces.
Yeah, so there's two, exactly. And so obviously somebody in San Diego gets a little bit more sunlight than somebody in Detroit. So one solar panel in San Diego makes the same as like 1.25 in Detroit, but Detroit's still good. You just need a little bit more equipment. And Carly, you've already said it, is what direction does your house face? Because whether or not you put your panels on the south side or north side of your house makes more of a difference than whether or not you live in San Diego or Buffalo. So east and west are both really great. North is usable, but you wouldn't want to use the north unless it was your only option at all. Or you just really did not want them on the south side of your house, but you still understand it's better to own something that makes electricity than to pay somebody else to a never-ending bill, to make it for you. So the short answer in general, if I would say what's the average, I'd say the average is 100%. Almost everybody we talk to can create 100% of what they need from sunlight. It is rare that someone cannot. But depending on your usage and depending on your shade and depending on which orientation of your house, that's what determines that. So do y'all remember when you registered, you guessed that number about how much you use per month? Like that's what we use to create your design. But if you're off by $50, that can make a $9,000 difference. So that's a big.
Excuse me, Lester, I didn't need to guess. I gave you an exact amount.
Well, then your design and your numbers will be precise when you receive them. So it's very rare, Cindy. Most moms are just like, how many questions do I have to answer to raise this $50?
Not this mom. I'm very thorough. No.
Well, Cindy, we're going to give you a very thorough design tomorrow. And give you a way to get back in touch with us super easy. So what other kind of questions do y'all have? You can see I've got a bunch of slides. Do y'all know how pretty solar panels are now, by the way? Have y'all seen the new ones that are all black? And some people like those pergolas, kitchens. Like this is what we offer, bespoke solutions, essentially. You can get whatever you want, however you want it. Most people want it on the roof because the roof's already built, and it's nice to protect your roof from all that sunlight and all that rain and make it last longer. Most people haven't thought about it because they're scared solar panels will make their roof leak. But it's like if you had an uncle that moved in with you and you were worried about him like eating all the food, and then it turns out that he's a gourmet chef and cooks every night. That's kind of like solar panels. Like you think maybe it's going to cause a leak, but in reality, it protects your roof. So first time I've ever used that bad analogy. What else are y'all wondering about? thank you for asking so many great questions.
Sorry, Lester, I have my husband on the phone because he wasn't able to make it here on time. So he has 1,000 questions, but of course he can't even put one for me. So just text me, honey, because he's having a hard time listening. I guess I'm
Okay.
too close or whatever. So
No problem. And
I'm
also,
sorry. I
Luke,
didn't want you to think I was being rude because I'm on the phone. It's him. So
well, I'd say 80% of the people we talk to are doing things that would be considered rude. So I wasn't thrown off by it at all.
well, no, I'm sorry. I respect your time, and I would appreciate, you knowing that. Okay, so he'll text me.
You're seen and it's noted, and it's been 25 minutes.
Noted. I love it. I love it.
So this is the point in the new system where I would stop and say, hey guys, what would you think about hopping on a call with us? We'll be just as nice, so we can hop on and see where the sunshine hits your house, see how much money it would save you, and give you the information you need to make a good decision. But I don't know how much information is being conveyed. Like I've got so much to talk about, but I think it's almost easier just to be nice to people and invite them to keep learning. So we'll wait for Cindy's husband to write any questions she has. But if you already know, hey, that sounds pretty good. I like to increase the value of my home, and I didn't know I could do it for nothing. And it's cool that it still works. And heck, I can have batteries if I want to, and even have power after a hurricane. Then Luke just dropped a link in the chat. Do y'all know how to find the chat? That's a place to sign up to continue your solar exploration journey with one of us. Will be just as fun, but we'll know your exact situation. So if you're not like Cindy, and we don't know exactly how much electricity you need for sure already, because they're looking, they're already looking for solar, so they just want to make a good decision for them. Whereas y'all are newbies. I think Sasha and Carly, didn't y'all write that y'all were newbies? Like, that's okay. We're not in a hurry, but we will always be respectful of your time, which is why I'm inviting you now, if you'd like to go ahead and give us a chance to get back together instead of wasting any more of your time. But know that I am here. And if you see my little slides over here, you can see I've got a lot of cool stuff to show you if you want to ask about it. And I'm not in a hurry. My next thing is an hour and a half from now. But so let me ask y'all for feedback. Do you think that's too short if we did that in the spring and made it 25 minutes? Is that too little information to share with people, or do you think that's good?
Oh, absolutely not. I think it's a good amount. I have a question though. Is your presentation at all shareable? Like, or is that something that you have online that we can access, or? It
says anyone can share it. Try not to mess it up too much, or we'll have to make a new one. But to answer your question, it's even better than that. We stream all these on YouTube.
I see that, but yeah, I want to make sure.
We're creating these questions in this experience with communities together.
Very nice.
And so there's like 50 of them. There's almost a 0% chance that somebody hasn't asked some question.
Sure.
Usually it's the same information we're sharing with folks, which is why we're shortening it down. But any question that you have, the best way to get it answered is just to hop back on with us whenever you and your husband are available.
Okay. For
and
sure.
We'll create a design for you tomorrow, because it sounds like you're actually looking for your options.
Yeah, Sydney, I just started making your design, so I'm going to send it over. I think we have your husband's email.
Oh, very nice. It's actually mine. I managed that one.
Oh, nice. Would either of y'all, Sasha, Carly, would y'all like a design as well? Just to see what it would look like in your...
Sure.
Cool. Sweet. I'll send those over.
Yeah, the design that you're going to be using is on my roof, right? Not like if you wanted to do like a pergola design or something, because we have a pool and all of that. But I wasn't sure how you can use it on a pergola. Now you answered my question that it wouldn't cause leaks, because I want to get rid of our current terrace. So if we can fill that with a solar panel, something like that,
it's beautiful, Sasha. Look at his image. It's really pretty.
Yeah, and the structure, we don't build the structure, but we have designs that can help with the designs of the structure, like how big it needs to be for the number of panels you have and the space you have. And so Tesla does a great job of saying, here's what you can buy from us, and it's really inexpensive. And we love them for that. We love Elon. What we do is we're like, all right, solar's freaking cool. You're our friends and you don't know about it. So we're going to bribe you to come learn about it. Hopefully you're going to find out that you can do it without spending a dime. You can save yourself. Like, here's an example, y'all. This is a real customer. that was spending $127 a month on their electricity, and they went solar for 0 down. They can make 100% of their electricity, which is what y'all were asking about. And their payment is $90 for their solar. So they just took, this bill goes away because you don't have to pay the electricity company if they're not doing anything for you. You pay to stay connected so you can get those credits. And it's like rollover minutes, where if you make more than you need in March, then when the sun is low in December, you just trade your credits back in. FPL, if you make more than you need, will actually pay you wholesale for them. So you might get a check from FPL if you make too much. But what we try to do is design your system so that you make just what you need. Now, if you were in Texas, my buddy in Texas, and or Wisconsin and Maryland are 3 companies that come to mind where they'll pay you retail for anything you make. So even though he only makes $100, he only needs $150 worth of electricity, he's buying enough solar to make $300 a month just to make money. But that's not available where y'all are, sadly, but that's.
Well, actually, my husband's going to jump on because we do have a house in Texas. So signing up for a different seminar, but we do have another house in Texas. So I told him he can find out how to get solar on that house because, of everything that recently happened. And it was kind of crazy. So we're like, we should look at alternatives for that house.
We've had a lot of folks being, you wouldn't want to, are y'all renting it out, or do y'all keep it as a vacation /
We have tenants there till June, and then we're going to decide if we want to do it like a vacation or Airbnb or something like that. But we want to do cool things with it. So we'll see,
cool.
What happens.
Well, I didn't know. I was just like, you don't want your tenants freezing to death in an ice storm, and one thing that I'm super confident of is that if you are interested in the battery system, because we sell things at wholesale, I know for a fact that we're like save $10,000 plus. And I really do believe that the way we design our batteries is better than the way Tesla designs their batteries. And that's a big claim, but I can show you with engineering and spec sheets why we believe that to be true. It's because of how quickly the system kicks on, how much access to energy you have after it kicks off, how inexpensive the batteries are to use, how few rare earth metals are used, how long they last, how many cycles they last. So we just spent we're kind of like solar nerds, right? Like, imagine if y'all were really into like one thing, whatever that one thing is. That's like us, I don't know what y'all are into, but I'm glad you are. We're all part of a team, and we all use electricity, and the sun shines on all of us. And so we just created this to have fun conversations with people. Is there anything else that you would like to know before you'd be willing to give us a chance to? We're going to create a design for you no matter what. But we'd love to go ahead if you're willing to put a time in the calendar, even if you need to change it so that we can get back together and discuss it. If you're willing to do that. That won't be on YouTube unless you want it to be on YouTube. Because we do have a solar urgency series. Okay. That friend in Texas, if you watch the YouTube channel, he wanted to see how fast he could do it. So we created a YouTube series called Solar Urgency. So we're like, okay, if you really want to do it, how fast could it really be done? So we're shooting for under 3 weeks. And we're 3 days in right now. Anyway, I'm talking about me instead of inviting y'all to learn, and I've already spent the time I'd like to spend, even though there's a lot more to talk about. Is there anything else that would give you unease if your friend was going to give you a free set of solar panels?
Well, so for me, I'll let my husband do the class and put in the information on our other property, and then once he has the information, he's able to sit through one because we both have crazy schedules. Then maybe we can talk about my current house because it's the one that I spend the most time in. And then we could schedule something then. But if you guys do the design, then I'm willing to have that. And that way, when we bring on the other property, we can have both and see what we can work out at that point.
We'll just do it both at the same time. Thank you. So what do y'all think? It might not be as fun with the person, but if we had like an easier course where we could share these basic concepts with people and they could click a button that say that they did it, it was $25 and then $25 to set up a follow-up call. Does that lose the generosity and the fun of it, or what do y'all think? Was this an easy fundraising experience for y'all? Was it worth your time to show up and learn tonight?
Absolutely. And I love the idea of that independence as well, because then you can schedule it on your own time So either or, and then if you're doing, I mean, the incentive would be to also complete it so that you can get that additional 25 at the end. So yeah, so either or, but this was great.
Well, guys, it's been super fun to meet you. I don't know if anybody's signed up, but that thing goes away on the chat. So be sure to, if you haven't yet, I understand, Sasha, send your husband. We'll talk to both of you at the same time. It'll be super fun. Carly, did you have any questions or anything you want to know?
No, I copied the link though and opened it up in my Safari because I'm on my phone right now. So I have it there. I just haven't been going back and forth to look at it. So I have it there to look at once we're off of here.
Fantastic. And Cindy, is there anything else I could do to add value to you this evening, or anything else you want me to know about your specific situation?
Not at the moment. We can do that in our follow-up call.
Well, that sounds fantastic, ladies. It's been my pleasure to meet with you tonight. Thanks for being the kind of humans who show up and stand up for organizations and do more than just think about yourself. I know you're super busy. As you continue the process, I promise we'll be respectful of your time and make it as easy as possible and as inexpensive as we can for you guys to access what you need to turn free sunlight into valuable electricity. So we'll see y'all soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Lester. Thanks, Lou. Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night. I think we could do it in 25 minutes.
I think it's 25 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, we're 37 minutes in and done, and they're probably a lot happier than most of the people were who sat through an hour and 15 minutes of having every question under the sun answered.
I know. I was kind of hoping you would talk some more so I could finish making this design so we could actually just be.
I should have just flipped over there. What I've learned is that from the people who have gone solar with us is that even when I'm talking to, like, for instance, Mark yesterday, he still doesn't necessarily understand net metering.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there are people that like it'd be impossible to be more clear who were smart, but it's been a few months and they just kind of forget because and they really don't know if it works and they really hope that it works, but there's a lot of trust involved if you're going to move forward in it still.
I agree. What we could do for that is like just have a leave behind after installation or like before, like once they decide they're going to go solar, just kind of like, here's a brief little summary of all the information you're going to need to know because you have your solar. And it's like not that much information, but it's super critical information.
Yeah. Like that's, I don't really know what else to say. That was kind of fun though. I liked the tone. How'd you feel about
that? Was fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah. They were a blast.
Nobody's good. I mean, people don't have time to listen to an hour-long presentation, but it is fun if it's live. It would be better. And and it doesn't seem that was the first time we've asked somebody if we're going to A/B test. Cindy's the first person who said, I think either one would work great. They learn it, then they have additional incentive to do the follow-up. Like, I think that whatever we do, we're going to find a way to work with organizations to spread the word, who have people who are willing to learn because they want to learn. And I'm glad that we have the summer to slow down and design something beautiful, for the fall.
Me too, man.
Even though we're not going to slow down because of all of our friends,
Yeah. Well, so I'm not going to be on the 8th. I don't think you are. I guess you're running it, but yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to be driving to Texas. So I got about a 12-hour drive.
What are you doing in Texas?
There's a charity golf tournament I'm volunteering at, so I'm just working like tables and then bartending the after party. But what I was gonna say is I didn't get to call anybody about Andy Law, but I will call. They have like a pretty structured. St. Louis has a pretty structured way of doing the permits for solar, so it shouldn't be too hard. I just wanted to.
Oh, they haven't even decided to do it yet. I'm talking to them tomorrow.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you can give them as much information as possible.
Yeah, so we'll get to that part. I think people like getting to that, having us do that part. Makes it easier for them. So
I like doing that part. It's fun.
Yeah, and then I'd send Cindy over. Where you'd send her design, just say here's your open book pricing too, because it's something that is not on Tesla. They don't do that.
Yeah,
but Tesla is very inexpensive and they're very good. And they just don't have very good battery options. right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna just send it and be like, well, this is what your money would do.
Yeah. So what a great, beautiful group of humans those were. Like,
I
I like
agree.
that. It's a good
Yeah.
school. That Archimedes must be a good school. Anyway, I'm gonna hop off. Thank you for being on. Appreciate you.
Well,
Getting
I'm curious real quick. How'd Zach's go?
Oh, he wasn't there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's all like, we didn't set a hard time yesterday. I just said, what time do you get off work? And he said 4. And then I didn't hear him say, but I'm off this week. So this is his off week. He probably went fishing or something. I'm like, I'll swing by tomorrow around 4. So I swung by around 4 and he wasn't there. So I'll go wake him up tomorrow morning. I know which car to look for now. It'll be fun.
Go set off the dog alarm.
Yeah, so you're gonna meet a lot of really wonderful people to spend a lot of time with this weekend. There's gonna be a lot of good opportunities that come from your having a chance to go to Texas.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping I'm staying at my buddy's house, so I'll probably just make him make his parents a design just to have it.
Yeah, just like, hey, just so you know how this works. Like, did you know? Are they a Green Mountain family? We'll find out if they're Green Mountain eligible.
Yeah, I mean they're in Dallas, so who knows?
I wish there were a simple map of who in Texas is Green Mountain eligible.
You just go to Power to Choose, and then you just type it's a little less simple than just going to a map, but just go to powertochoose.org and you just type in the zip code and it'll literally just tell you every single utility company they have.
So for all the Texans watching the show, there you go. So, and whenever you send Cindy the thing, be sure to send her the YouTube link too.
Yep.
Not too late. All right. So get that done. Have fun driving tomorrow. Grateful.